Last week, we had a discussion on how Lightning Lane and Genie Plus might in fact be destroying the Disney parks experience, at least in the United States. Since then, on That Park Plays Live, we talked about a 3.5 hour plus line in order to just get annual passes at Disneyland. That's the magic key. And now, Lightning Lane, DAS, and Genie Plus have all shut down, creating a disaster during people's once-in-a-lifetime Disney vacations. Let's talk about that on That Park Plays. Good morning. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter, and with me, as always, is Mr. Vash Sky, an expert on all theme parks, but specifically those West Coast ones that I never seem to get out to. Vash,
yes.
How you doing on this fine day?
I am doing very, very well. Well, at least a lot better than the people waiting in line, looking for, hopefully, some guest recovery, when a lot of Disney's critical systems went down at the same time.
Oh, my. We talk a lot about Genie Plus and DAS on this channel lately, especially because these systems are supposed to facilitate guests and help them have a better experience. But the end result seems to be that everyone has a worse experience, as most people are willing to take that bet that they will be the only ones getting Genie Plus, where it seems that Disney actually sells out of Genie Plus, making it so everyone gets into those lightning lanes, and meaning that there is a not pay line next to the pay line.
It would appear so, yes. And, well, I mean, when the whole system works, it doesn't necessarily function buttery smooth, I will say.
Yeah, you were about to say when it works, weren't you?
Well, no. Well, I was just going to say, when it works, it kind of works, right? It gives you the air of sort of functioning. But when it doesn't work, it is disastrous because, all those people who paid all that money or are trying to use those services, well, they have no place to go but to guest relations, and that's what we're finding out here.
All right. Well, let's get into it, Vash.
Please. So thank you. This right here from Disneyland News today on Twitter. So Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, and DAS systems are all down. So lines at guest relations locations have massive crowds. DAS, as people would know, is the Disability Access Service, and Lightning Lane is part of the new kind of Fast Pass replacement right there, and that's all packaged as part of the Genie Plus. But you can see right here, a lot of people right there looking to get some kind of guest recovery option, whether it be a refund or something else that might facilitate, a guest recovery option for them. You can see right here, lots of long lines, and we just covered that story about getting Magic Key, right?
Right.
And trying to, deal with Disney IT that way. Well, that doesn't stop, folks. As soon as you get your Magic Key, that sometimes occurs when you're in the parks.
Now let me ask you something here.
Please.
If you do you have 3.5 hours in the middle of your day to go to Disneyland and not enjoy anything that's going on at the parks?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to say no on that, especially if you pay, full fare for a day at Disneyland. You can be charged as much as $15 an hour just to be in the park based on how many hours the park is open and for what you paid that day.
Right, and so with Genie Plus, this would be paying customers. So this isn't annual pass holders necessarily.
Right.
These are people that are in the park and having a bad day, and they have decided that instead of enduring that bad day, they would rather go to guest services to have this resolved. But a massive line at guest services, that's a huge problem, and that is not white glove treatment right there that they're getting if they have to stand in that line. So
no,
I'm pointing this out because I want to give Disney a hard time about this because, guys, this is an untenable situation. You need to fix it. Guys, this is a disaster right here. And I'm going to say it again. The Lightning Lane insanity has to stop. Go ahead, Vash.
Yeah, and to your point about the usage of this, annual pass holders are more unlikely to use a service like Genie Plus because they are there so frequently. So more likely than not, these guests that you're seeing right here are going to be disproportionately people who have paid per day to be there. So it only compounds the problem further, as you point out right there. In fact, Dave Cobb gives his experience on Twitter. Hey, Disneyland, Genie Plus is down for everyone. I spent $140 our party of 6 and have gotten no benefit from it at all because I can't book anything. Fix this and make things right site with a refund or a pile of Lightning Lane bookings. $140 on top of how much it was to get all 6 of those guys in there. I mean, we could potentially be talking thousands. This is an untenable position for the Disney company to be in when these things go down, guys. If you're going to be, facilitating systems like this that are so critical to the operation of the Disneyland Resort or Walt Disney World, for that matter, you have to invest in IT. I mean, look at this. This is the line down the hub at the hub guest relations booth. This is causing chaos here, and it's helping nobody. And really, the people who not only get the short end of the stick, like the people who paid, are the cast members who have to deal with these issues specifically, yes. And especially the guest relations cast members. But the attractions cast members and so forth who have to take all these complaints. This cannot be a fun way to do your job.
And I've spoken to cast members in the past that existed before some of this NGE technology was put into place, that there were issues like this, not like this on this scale, where guests would come in and talk to cast members and they could fix it very quickly. But instead now it's a call to IT. And so they have to involve a third party somewhere else. Unless you're going to have IT on staff to fix everybody's problems, then you're going to have problems like this forever. Also, if it's an IT problem, that's not magical. That is not waving some wand and making it all go away in the way that Disney cast members should be able to do. Right. This is a disaster. I would hate this, guys. Again, Disney, you need to do the cost benefit analysis on all the bad PR from Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. If you make it go away and you just do Fast Pass and not even Fast Pass Plus, this thing where you got to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning in order to 7 in the morning 180 days before your booking. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what I'm talking about, people that don't have the context on how bad Fast Pass Plus functioned, again, you used to have a degree in Disney and lots of prep time in order to plan your Disney vacation. This stuff, if this goes away, your parks will be better and more fun. You may not make as much money per guest on this, but your guests will be happier, and maybe they'll even spend a little bit more money.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you say this, because we actually did, people have theorized for a long time, well, if you got rid of Fast Pass, if the whole experience would be better. If you got rid of Fast Pass Plus, similarly, the whole experience would be better. We actually saw this when Disneyland opened back in April of 2021, all the way up until about September, October, when Genie Plus was actually made its debut. For a short period of time there was no Fast Pass at all. It was just standby. And guess what? The lines moved. You didn't have 2-hour lines anymore. Those were significantly reduced because of the efficiency at which the standby could operate under, and because necessarily nobody was special, and you didn't do this kind of half Fast Pass, half not. Everything worked out far smoother than I think people initially might have realized. Unfortunately, Disney, they got feedback. It was like, well, we're not going back to Walt Disney World until we get Fast Pass back again or whatever, or a system like it. And they eventually caved. And, well, there were monetary incentives to do that as well. But now, previously, maybe it wasn't so bad when you weren't charging these things and these things were included with your admission. Now that they are, it only puts a bigger spotlight on the critical IT needs of these parks, and they have been deficient for decades. I just had a conversation with somebody at that park place who is very, very good with IT, knows the kind of the behind the scenes inner workings of Disney, and it is a joke amongst the entire telecommunications industry. It's so widespread, it is a joke at this point.
Yes. And I'll say, if you are a person in the line, if you're in the standby line and you're going through and maybe you're a little frustrated at the length of the line, and you see somebody go by and they've paid for Genie Plus and Lightning Lane or individual Lightning Lane, there might be a little bit of bitterness or envy there. If it was just the old paper Fast Passes, right, what happened in order for them to get that Fast Pass. In 90% of the instances, of course, you can just pass those things out in order to appease guests. And
sure,
you've got a little bonus there that you could just say, hey, no, this works for you. Go ahead, take this up there. You go tell the people at the front of that line that I sent you here. And they said, you're my people, and you can get on Space Mountain a little quicker. It's a lot more fun with the paper fast passes. I know that that's a lot of trouble, but it was at least clear, and everybody knew how to do it. And yes, again, it was free, at least in the Walt Disney World parks. FastPass Plus is complicated and detracts from the guest experience. I, I get nostalgic for someone having to run to the back of the park in order to get fast passes for all their different rides, of course. But it was at least simpler, and it was as simple as walking there and doing it, as opposed to, hey, how much money you got on you? Well, how good is your Disney going to be? Well, you're going to have to part with this much money in order to have an optimum experience for you and your family. Vash, you have anything you want to add here before we finish up?
No, it's taking this kind of monetary approach, this kind of like, oh, well, you're kind of special if you just get in, but you're going to be really special if you do this. We've just never seen this kind of almost classist system as transparent as it has been recently. We got the VIP kind of things going on, and like the Tomorrowland Terrace Plaza or whatever. For fireworks viewing, we have something similar here at Disneyland, where the old launch bay is. We have reserved seating for VIP guests for both the fireworks parades and so forth. Now we have Genie Plus, in which people are treated differently than the people who didn't necessarily pay for that service. It's just it's getting a little bit too much right there, and we got to get back to, hey, everybody's a VIP. That's all I'll say on that.
Yep, that's a very good point. And we've often said here on That Park Places, if you're not going to get rid of Genie Plus Lightning Lane, or whatever term you want to use for this line skipping feature, that Universal has Express Pass, and they price it at $150 a pop,
Sure.
or something like that, so that not everyone is doing it. And therefore, it's a better value for the people that are doing it, and isn't as offensive to the people that aren't doing it. Well, in this case, if you have people paying $150 a pop, you really can't have your IT system shutting down on you in the middle of the day, because then you have a real problem on your hands. All
Agreed.
right. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion, Vash. Of course, go check him out on Theme Park Universe. Not only does he do That Park Place, but he does these long-form discussions over on Theme Park Universe with Ethan Becker. And Ethan is a great resource in the space, especially for Universal. I always appreciate Ethan and the information that he sends our way from time to time. So thank you, everyone else, for watching the video. If you want to join in this discussion, you can do so in the comment section down below. Of course, like this video if you like this video, or if you didn't like this particular one, you could help out the channel by doing that. And of course, share this out on social media if you know someone who has some thoughts that they would like to share on Lightning Lane, and maybe likes to talk about these little quirks of the Disney company that really need to be fixed. Or consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.